throughout the series, had a twisted but still relatively reliable moral code.
Mm-hmm.
And Boyd Holbrook is completely unpredictable and very very different villain than Raylan is used to encountering. So I'm excited about that element of it too. I'm glad that they kind of preserved that. I think it's going to be fun to see kind of how they work on that relationship and how Raylan adapts, because he's going to be a fish out of water to a degree, right? He is, he's going to be in Detroit where he doesn't live. Sorry, Clement Mansell is the character's name. Boyd Holbrook is the actor's name. I thought that was the case. I didn't think I was like, wait a minute, why would they have another character named Boyd? So they don't. It's Clement Mansell, the Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
But but it'll be interesting to see how Raylan has to adapt his behavior to deal with a more unpredictable kind of character. Because I think that this character is as unpredictable as any villain that he's come up against. And that includes like Quarles, for example. More brutal, less ability to kind of anticipate what he's going to do, and just a brutal kind of guy. So I'm excited to see how they portray that and how they adapt the way Raylan behaves. Plus, he's going to get up there. He doesn't have the network that he had in Kentucky. He's not from there. So he doesn't have, hardware shop Mike that he can go to and lean on to get him to put pressure on the Crows. It's going to be interesting to see how Raylan adapts to that as well, I think.
Did you finish that book? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Was it a book?
Yeah, it was a book. It's a book. It doesn't have Raylan in it. It's got Ray Cruz. Who's
that's right.
The detective from the J-Lo George Clooney one.
Out of Sight.
Yeah. So it's got Ray Cruz in it, but they're gonna replace Raylan essentially with Ray Cruz. I'm wondering if we aren't gonna get like a Ray Cruz cameo, like maybe he's the reason Raylan's up there or something like that. But
well, I wonder. Yeah, I'm because I haven't read the book, so I'm curious on what's going to happen. I did read some of the article. I think you texted me some of the articles, or maybe it was sent or not sent to me, but how it shows up in your feed or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just picture it as what was that BET the White House that White House series
The Oval.
The Oval. So what's going to happen is Raylan shows up in that setting.
Oh, okay.
That's a fish out of water, right?
Yes. Well, yeah, that would be. So I've been thinking about some segments for the new podcast as we do it, and I'm like, I think one of them has to be Raylan is in Detroit. And because they're going to show us in every episode that Raylan is not in Kentucky, Raylan is in Detroit, and being able to kind of figure out, oh look, here's the part where they show us that Raylan is in Detroit. That's that's going to be fun. I think trying to identify that. But to your point, you're absolutely right. I also think. So did you read about the origin of the series and how it came about?
Maybe, possibly. Yeah. What are you referring to, though?
So what the producers, the story that they told was that it was Tim Oliphant's idea. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't really Tim's idea. It was Quentin Tarantino's idea. Now, yeah, that's right. So Quentin Tarantino had optioned this book to do a movie about a long time ago, and never actually got a movie done about it. And when Tim was on set for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Quentin was telling him, hey, you guys should do this. And Tim was like, hey, you know what? That's a really good idea. And went back to the producers of Justified and said, hey, we should do this. And that's how this whole thing came about. It was Tim convincing them that this would be a good idea and that they should do this show. So I'm excited for it based on that. I wish that the scheduling and the availability and everything else had worked out so that Quentin could have directed an episode. But
that's right. We had talked about that because there was like maybe it was meetings or something like that where they were talking about him possibly directing an episode or two.
Yeah, there was a rumor that was going to happen. I suspect that the reason that there was that rumor is because he was tied to the series in this way, and it got kind of twisted into, well, he's going to be part of the show.
Yeah. Well,
but it's very exciting also. So.
Oh, it's still, I'm still going to watch every single episode.
Absolutely. Probably multiple times. So, all right. Well, that wraps up our Justified City Primeval hunk. But Ingrid Escajeda, the writer of this episode, you may know her also from Sneaky Pete or Empire. She was a producer on both of those shows, wrote episodes in both of those shows. Directed by Don Kurt. We've had him a few times before, so we won't go too much into his credits. We've already kind of established those. He's the guy who did Viva Laughlin, that's musical
right.
show. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and then guest stars this week. So let's talk about Alicia Witt a little bit this week. So Alicia Witt, she's Wendy Crow. And we know her, from a lot of different things. Dune 1984. So she was in the David Lynch Dune movie, which
back
is
in the 90s,
way back in the 80s. Yeah. In 1984. Yeah. Which I think is it's like one of those movies that's so bad it's good. I think the Dune fans will defend it, like pretty strongly defend it. But I think like from a critical standpoint and like, people who aren't Dune fans, it's not particularly good. So
that was Sting had an appearance in there.
Sting did have an appearance in there. That's right. Yeah. Yep. And then also Vanilla Sky, the 2017 Twin Peaks. So she's worked with David Lynch a couple of times.
Did she play the same character? I know you watched Twin Peaks. So was she the same kid or the same person
from Dune? No, I don't think so.
Oh, no. I thought, okay. I thought you had said that she was in Twin Peaks before.
No. Just the 2017 revival, just a couple of episodes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
She was in a couple episodes of The Walking Dead, a couple episodes of House of Lies, Person of Interest, Friday Night Lights. She was in 9 episodes of that. Law and Order Criminal Intent. She had a recurring character for 5 episodes. More known now for singer-songwriting. She released an album recently. She has a few albums out there. Check her out on Spotify, by the way. I listened to some of her music. It's not bad at all, actually. If you like singer-songwriter style stuff, it's not bad. It's not bad. Check it out.
Okay.
So,
I Googled her just now.
Yeah.
And one of the top results was somebody asking her, will we see you in more Hallmark movies? Now,
yes.
Hallmark movies are what are they? The basically romantic comedies, right? Isn't that what they are?
Pretty much all romantic comedies. They're generally holiday themed. The very popular ones are holiday themed, and she's been in several of them. Yeah. So she's got a little bit of a kind of a revenue stream coming in from those Hallmark movies, which who else does those? Candace Cameron Bure, Candace Cameron from Full House. She's in a bunch. Although I don't think she's in Hallmark anymore. I think she switched to a different channel because she. Well, I'm not going to get into the why, but
it's like Pepsi and Coke. They offer the similar product, right? So
it
Hallmark
is.
And then
I think it's Pepsi and woke was the issue.
Oh, is that what?
I'm pretty sure that was the issue for her. Like I said, I don't really want to, but yeah. So. So that's what Alicia Witt's been up to. Also Sopranos. She was in one episode of Sopranos, the one with what's his name, the director, Jon Favreau.
Oh, Jon Favreau. Yeah.
She plays the D girl, they called that episode, I think, and she has a brief relationship with Christopher
That's right. Okay. Yeah, I remember the whole thing.
And then our next guest star is James Kyson, who plays Yoon. So you may recognize him from Heroes. He was in 61 episodes of Heroes. He was Hiro Nakamura's companion.
Okay.
So he played a Japanese gentleman on Heroes, and in Lovecraft Country he was also in that. Where and he's done a bunch of video game and voiceover animation voiceover work. Tons and tons and tons of that. He's got a great voice. And he, this episode alerted me to something that I didn't know about him, about the Hanneken in Mexico. So we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to our food of the week.
Okay.
But before we can get into our episode details, now that we're 30 minutes into the podcast,
well, not really, because you cut that part. So.
True. Yes. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. So we're only 29 minutes in. We have to take a trip back to the week of February 11th, 2014, and of course, in order to do that, we need our time machine.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Out of a DeLorean?
We did indeed. And our number one movie the week of February 11th, 2014, the Lego Movie, yet again. Second week, everything is awesome. $151 million total gross. So that movie's doing quite well. New debut this week, coming in second place, About Last Night, which is Kevin Hart and Regina Hall. I haven't seen that movie. But
is that a remake of the
gross 30 million? Yeah, it was like a Kevin Costner movie, right?
Yeah, something like well, was it Kevin Costner? Was it? No, I thought it was like the Brat Pack, like Rob Lowe and those guys.
Let's see. Oh yeah, no, you're right. Rob Lowe, Demi Moore. Yeah.
I wonder if it's a remake of that.
A man and woman meet and try and have a romantic affair despite their personal problems and the interference of their disapproving friends. And
About Last Night, 2014.
That's the one. That one says, follow two couples as they journey from... Nope, not the same.
Okay.
Eventually put to the test in the real world. So, yeah, don't know. I not a huge Kevin Hart guy. Some of his stand-up is funny. I'm not a huge fan, but...
he's like that guy on the OC. Remember the... Get my OC reference. The guy who's like really big. You remember he was like funny. Like they had that relationship, and then this is going deep into the weeds. But
yeah, you are.
But there was a relationship that that Summer was going out when she wasn't going out.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. The imposter Seth or whatever.
Yeah. Except he was like very exaggerated, and they called him, just really big. I think that's what Kevin Hart is. Just like really big.
Yes, you're absolutely right. It can be a little much.
Yeah. I've seen some bits of Kevin Hart which are funny though. So
yeah. Oh yeah, no, I have too. Like I said, some of his stand-up is very, very funny, but he is a little extra.
Yeah,
a lot of the time.
Yeah,
that's a good way to. Yeah.
Cut that part out too.
No, I'm fine to leave that in. I have opinions about comedy. If there's one thing that you come away from this podcast learning, it's that I have opinions about comedy. So 30 million that movie grossed, which is pretty great for a debut of the same week as the Lego Movie. I'm $30 million. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart draws that box office. And then number one top 40 song, Dark Horse by Katy Perry. It's our second week with that. And then, of course, we have our Florida man moment of the episode, which we go back to February 2016 for this one. The headline, DEA wheelchair-bound woman 74 ran heroin sales for Florida drug gang. And according to investigators, Ruth Perez Lopez sold heroin from a fortified Orlando residence outfitted with a high-tech security system. She was targeted during a year-long operation dubbed Deals on Wheels by state and federal agents. And a DEA official estimated that the ring sold about 2